thing I want to start out with was what a tremendous job I thought our leadership group did this week, knowing that we're working on improving on offense every single day. I thought Mercedes Lewis, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, the energy they brought, the communication they brought Monday, Tuesday through today, getting into our walkthroughs today, know that we're built the right way and looking to keep getting better every single week as an offense.
Shane, what's your interpretation of the feedback you got from those guys as you guys try to figure things out?
Yeah, I think for us, it's just constant communication, attention to detail, all the stuff that we stress, and then how do we keep communicating that player to coach, coach to player, so that we know we get the results that we're looking for on the field.
What's your desired identity for this offense when you see it through your eyes?
Yeah, desired identity hasn't changed. We want to have the marriage of the run and the pass. We want to be multiple. We want to be able to utilize our personnel in certain situations. I think promising thing from this past week was seeing some of our pass game come to life, whether it was all three levels of the throws, play action world, had a ton of third downs right there, third and fourth downs combined, over 20 of those. So seeing those things come to life. And then the thing that we're working on relentlessly is getting our run game going, improving in that area so that we can play a balanced game.
How does DeAndre Carter get asked to block a defensive lineman?
Yeah, I think there's also situations where alignments present themselves that we can do a better job. As a coaching staff, love Dre. He's going to do anything and everything we ask. But we got also, that's our part as coaches, putting guys in the best positions for success. That was one of those moments where we can be better.
I think every time you were inside the 10, you ran out of the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a comfort level with the quarterback? A comfort level with the coordinator? Why do you do that?
Yeah, I think when you're in the shotgun in the low red zone there, you obviously present the option of the quarterback to run it right there. I know that when it comes down, everyone will want to talk about it and ask about it. The fourth down call right there where it didn't work out after we had some interior runs. I know for me, I can't look back at the past in that negative light. I got to look back in the past and live in the present, be better for us, learn from it, and improve there. But in terms of being in the gun versus being under center, there's different styles or both. And I know when you present that extra element, because in the low red zone, defense has that extra hat down there. Quarterback in the gun now presents that opportunity.
What did you learn from that play, the fourth down play?
Yeah, I think for us, just being able to communicate, get to the line of scrimmage a little bit faster right there so we can get, what we want out of the play. And so, again, all those things start with me. I got to be better in that situation. I will moving forward.
Was it the operation, though? I mean, what happened? Where did it go wrong? You said
yeah, I think that's something we've discussed as a group there. Like every play, not just that particular play, knowing that's a 17th play in that drive. And like every play in every drive, looking to communicate and correct if there's stuff that went wrong. And without getting in all the specifics right there schematically on every single play, just knowing the bottom line there, I got to put us in a better position.
Are there situations that would present themselves to put Caleb under center, potentially that fourth down one? Obviously if that pops up again, would that be an option?
Yeah, there's always going to be option to be in the gun or under center in those low red zone areas.
Why was it Herbert in that spot instead of Roshan, who was more powerful back?
I think for us, we have confidence in both Herbert and Roshan. I think Roshan did a great job as he's built his way back into the offense, coming off of injury, playing more and more. I think he's done an excellent job with it. The plan was going in with Khalil to be our short yardage and goal line back. He's done an excellent job. We have all the faith in the world in all of our guys each week that they're out there, and each week we'll have a plan in terms of specifics for the running backs, whether it's first and second down or our situational football, and what we think is giving us the best chance.
What do you think is hindering the run game right now?
I think for us, it's the rhythm of the run game, the staying connected on our first to second level blocks right there. Backs involved right there as far as trusting it. And I think, there's been flashes. We've done a great job in our practice reps. We've done a great job in our preseason reps. But the reality is we haven't performed up to our standards in game right now. And so for us, that goes back to the fundamentals, our techniques. We're reiterating them with those guys. I think the players have done a great job of talking about full ownership of their role and responsibility on each play. And so as we go each week, we got to keep getting better, keep improving, especially in the run game there.
Shane, even by the eye test of Braxton and Tevin and Darnell are all down. They're not as effective as they were last year in this offense. Is there a transition in your scheme that just takes them longer to get acclimated to it and and eventually it'll get there.
Yeah, I think for those guys, I think they're working each week to improve. As far as comparisons go, one year to the next, I think it's more about us as a group on offense coming together, all 11 in the run game, and it's O linemen, it's quarterbacks involved on their part, it's the running backs, it's the receivers and tight ends. So to me, with the run game, it's something that takes all 11, and I think we have great unity right there, great clarity as we keep going each week on what we want to be, and now it's about executing and performing when we're out there.
Caleb talked
Down,
about
it
going.
seems like everybody's talked about communication. How are you guys working on that? How do you shore that up in between games and figure that out?
Yeah, I think for us, communication started in OTAs in the off-season program by building and developing relationships with everybody, and that's where I alluded to the offensive leadership group having a good chance to talk through things on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with things from their lens, and being able to have that good relationship with everybody where we're all solution-oriented right now, and being able to communicate clear, open, and honest with each other, being able to correct things to be better in certain situations, coach to player, player to coach, and everything in between. So for us as an offense right now, and I know we haven't lived up to what we want to be in our building right now in terms of some of the execution there, but the thing that we can rely on is the communication has been great, and it's been consistent, and it's ever growing, right? It's changing. There's different guys that have different experiences within games and communicating to them, the reactions or what we're doing, based on this, that, or the next thing in terms of either defensive structure or when we come out or off of a series and talk through things. And so I think we're built the right way. The players are built the right way. And I think seeing that keep improving as we move forward is something that will show.
Hey, what was follow up to that with Caleb in particular? What was that exchange like in terms of the communication and him expressing his desires within this offense?
Yeah, I think for Caleb and I and for the rest of the offensive staff, just that good coach to player communication in game where I know he's competitive as can be right there. And we're doing a great job now in talking through of, hey, if this scenario happens, let's just talk through this real quick and we're on to the next one right away. And it's something that he's done a good job of and learning the process of the surface on the sideline, all these things as we're going through our sideline communication. And like I said, in game, everything is continuing to improve right there. And then when we come off the, win, lose, or draw on that Monday, being able to go back through everything and talk through everything. And the goal of this is everything getting on the same page, being in sync, being one. And I think we're heading in that direction based on our ability to clearly communicate with each other.
How are you personally handling the challenge of making sure that Caleb does stay aggressive in terms of his approach with them and also limiting the turnovers?
Yeah. I think for us as an offense, when it comes to turnovers, we know we're always going to be all about the ball. And, we talk about statistics that directly correlate to winning and losing football games. We know the turnover margin is huge. It's the number one thing besides, obviously, scoring points. And so for us, just keep reiterating the ball. I think, Chad Morton's done a great job every single Wednesday of stepping up in front of the group, talking about, what the importance is, what are the emphasis for the week with the defenses that we're going against. And then for Caleb knowing, hey, when's the chance to take completions, when's the chance to keep a pocket clean by, those unsackable plays where the ball's just out of his hand right now. And then when in the right moments, if he does have a free rush lane to break contain and get out with great ball security, right, to let some of those big plays come to life down the field.
Andy Eberflus has indicated that he's more involved in the offense maybe relative to his first couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
On the sidelines on game day, do you have complete autonomy? Is he suggesting things? Is he overriding things ever? Or is that all you as far as the play calling is concerned?
Yeah, I think as far as our structure set up, Coach Flus does a great job communicating to me what the situations are in the game, how we might manage our timeouts, clock management, things of that nature. And then, every now and then from a defensive lens, if he's seeing something out there or feeling something, he'll mention it maybe in between series. But he's done a great job of from a defensive coach's perspective, being able to talk to us on offense of maybe something that he's seeing structural wise in the defense, and we're able to communicate that way and keep our operation going.
As you kind of stress communication and try to keep your eyes forward, looking ahead, has it been difficult not to be personally frustrated by the run game, you guys have got 3 offensive touchdowns? Have some of those things made it a little challenging not to get personally frustrated at this point?
I think we're all so competitive in this business right here. Starting with me, the goal of every single game really has nothing to do with stats other than winning and losing. So for us on offense, our job is to do whatever we can do to help the Bears win, and that's the starting point right there. And for me, when we talk about, I'm not going to live in the past, but I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to move forward, and I believe in that. I'm not going to flinch or blink on any of those things. I'm looking forward for a solution to everything that we've been through, and can't wait for this next game.
When Caleb vocalizes his desire for himself and the offense to feel comfortable, what are you hearing specifically from him when he asks for that?
I think for us, going back to the comfort level is just the operation, right? Down in, down out, in and out of the huddle, owning play calls, understanding the more reps that he's accumulating, the more chances he's able to see, different structures of defense. And we talked about, that comfort level leads to stealing a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds here on the front end and the back end if we do huddle or if we're at the line of scrimmage. And the more and more comfortable we get as an offense, the more and more time that we can use to attack the defense or settle into different structures that we're seeing.
What do your running backs need to know about the way you want them to run? That we heard Matt talk earlier in the week about, maybe talking to DeAndre, on Monday, I think, about kind of what you're looking for. How can you explain exactly what you are looking for?
Yeah, I think for our running backs, right, every running back has different styles, right? They're not all going to be the exact same, and we want to embrace the different styles that everyone has. So different runs might come to life a little bit differently based on if it's Swift, if it's Roshan, if it's Khalil. Okay, but the starting point's always going to be trying to press the heels of the O lineman. Okay, working those one-cut runs. All right, being aggressive into the line of scrimmage. All right, and then when big play opportunities happen, being great with ball security first, but being able to work edges on second and third level defenders, looking for explosive runs.
Is there an example from your 3 years in Seattle where you did learn from the past, where maybe something wasn't really working and then you would, learned and figured it out and it became better?
Yeah, I think when you talk about, I don't want to look. Again, I'm not going to look back. I do have examples of that, thinking about, especially with people specific and improving myself of saying, what am I going to use and utilize in certain situations. I think especially the past year as a play caller, being in, I think it was 5 or 6 end of game winning drive situations right there. I think the more of those that you're in as a play caller, the more you learn, what are the quick calls, what are the different scenarios you get to, how to communicate that to the guys, and, we've got a great comfort level in that. It happened a couple times, obviously, in the LA games over the last few years with those end of game scenarios. And so for me, those are ones, when we do the after action report on Monday, we talk about, the players, things that they can correct. And really the starting point is, looking inwardly first. Okay, what are all the scenarios that came up in the game? And like I said, without getting into those specifics, being able to, being able to learn from them, okay, note them, and make sure that, with all the variations of things that can happen, being able to progress with those situations.
Do you have a scripted list of plays to open the game with? You guys have got 3 points in the first quarter.
Yep, I know we did, and I'm not going to get into our, how we do our openers right there, because I feel like in my mind that's a scheme thing, and talking about different scenarios there, something that we're always going to be looking to start fast, whether it's with openers, whether it's with priority calls, however you want to look at those. We have a process that we go to.
Okay, what was different about the conversations you had with the leadership group? I assume you talk with them every week.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You never led a press conference by praising them. Well, what was different about the tenor of the conversations this week compared to the previous 3?
I think the thing that impressed me the most was knowing offensively coming out of that game, a game where we felt like our contribution to the game could have been better, could have helped our defense that's playing so well right now, our special teams units that are playing so well right now. And so coming into the building, talk about like forward thinking and my mindset of learning and being solution oriented. Well, you don't know what you're going to expect from groups of players, and to walk into a group of players that were in that same mindset, that were connected, that were ready to get back to work and get on to this next game. I thought that was the thing I was proud of those guys. That's why I wanted to mention those guys right away. And I think, so much of that is their inward confidence that then, spreads throughout the offense, and something that we're looking to make sure is contagious with our full group. Okay? All right.
Good afternoon. Good opportunity for us this week at home against a proven play caller and signal caller. And this offense will really challenge our readiness in certain mechanical aspects of how we get lined up and execute from one snap to the next. Had 2 good days of preparation so far. We're looking forward to the opportunity to play at home in front of our fans. With that, I'll take your questions.
What are some of the first things that come to your mind when you think of a Sean McVay offense?
Well, I mean, they're going to be big plays. It's big play capable. There's a lot of things that happen before the ball is snapped. We've got to do a good job with our alignments, with our assignments, and just making sure we have our feet in the ground ready to play.
How does, after 16 seasons in the NFL, Matthew Stafford still challenge a defense?
His arm talent has not waned at all. He can make every throw on the field. He knows exactly what you're in, so our disguise will be critical. And he knows how to get the football out of his hand, how to get them into I would say an ideal play.
You got hit deep a couple of times on Sunday. Is there a coaching point there, especially on the one that got behind Jalen?
Yeah, we just want to maintain our leverage. We want to maintain our ability to stay over the top. And always, every time we have an explosive play, we don't just look at one particular position. We have to make sure we look at how all of the pieces of our defense are functioning. So rush and coverage have to work together.
You guys have gone from facing a second-year quarterback in your first 3 games to Matthew Stafford. How does that show up just on the field?
Just his experience, his poise, his command of the offense, his ability to communicate to all 10 pieces, to be able to ID us without a whole lot of extra things that offenses typically use to help the quarterback position. Just a lot of experience, a lot of accomplishments, a lot of things that he's seen.
You guys play a lot of nickel, so Jack Sanborn's not out there a lot, but he made 2 real nice plays in the red zone, especially the interception. What are your thoughts about him?
Well, the fact that when Jack comes into the game, he's the last couple of weeks. I mean, we bring him in the game in Houston, he gets a sack. He comes in the game last week, and he gets his hands up, and he helps to create the takeaway deep in the red zone. He actually tipped the football. He's just ready to play. He's a great equalizer for us. Very versatile player, extremely intelligent, smart, and works his tail off.
Eric, what have you learned about your defense the past 3 weeks when the offense is not up to their standards, and so you guys are kind of running out there in situations you don't want to be in, but you're still getting those stops. What have you learned about the guys and kind of their resolve?
What I know about our players, and I'll say this every week, is we have great character, and that's we're not separated from the results of the game. But I've been watching this now since I came on board. The players work hard. They're dedicated. They're there's a lot of humility. There's selflessness, and they're up to the challenge. They're focused on what they have to do to help us win week in and week out, and they're their own worst critic.
With Tremaine and TJ and your nickel so much, it's hard to get Sanborn on the field. Is there any way to get more out of him if he's going to be so efficient, as a playmaker?
Well, sure. I mean, certain situations will come up, certain personnel groups. If we have a strong tendency from the offense that would allow us to get Jack on the field in a situation where we really believe he could help us, we'll definitely do that. But he's a person that we have a lot of confidence in, and also he backs up all 3 linebacker positions, even in nickel. So he's well versed in what we're doing in nickel, and certainly when we go base, we're excited to have him out there.
How does their pre-snap motion help a quarterback who probably doesn't need much help in the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, if you're not careful, if you're not on top of the details of what you're doing, you can all of a sudden kind of predict what they're doing just based on how the defense may move based on their motion. It gives you a little bit of information as far as safety rotation. Maybe are you in a split safety configuration? Do you have a person rotated down? What are you playing? Are you playing zone or man? I mean, as talented as Matthew Stafford is, I'm sure he'll tell you he could use all the information he could get.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. How's everyone?
Good.
I'm doing great. Obviously got a big test this week, going against a really good opponent. Coached really well in all 3 phases. Obviously, you guys know this, but I have a ton of experience working with Sean and familiarity with him. I know they're going to be ready to go. I know they're going to be coached up. shared an office with him, so we spent a lot of late nights grinding together. So I know how the guy's wired, and he's definitely a really good football coach. They're coming off a really big win. They were down 10 points in the fourth quarter, and they end up winning that game in regulation. And special teams had a lot to do with that. So this will be a big challenge for us, and we're looking forward to it. So with that, we can open it up to questions.
They popped the 38-yard, 39-yard punt return. What impressed you about that?
Yeah, the Xavier Smith kid, really nice job fielding the ball. Their blockers did a really nice job maintaining leverage on their blocks downfield. And that kid did a great job of getting it up the sideline. He was fearless, but he's been doing that all preseason. If you take a look at his preseason tape, he's been a really good player for them, and they're doing a nice job on teams right now. So it'll be a big challenge for us.
Could you walk us through what the kickoff at the end of the game, with the clock and everything going on? What's the operation like? What are the conversations like as you get set to kick that ball off?
Yeah, so I believe it was 2:01 on the clock there, and then obviously there's a component with the clock, and there's a decision to make. Whether or not you can conserve time versus going for an onside kick, and the percentages of getting that onside kick. So we decided to kick it deep, and thank God they took a knee. Right, they took a knee, so that worked out well for us, and we were just planning on trying to get it back. So it worked out well for us.
Is Torrey ready for those? I know there's probably specific things that he can do for you, and I know you're not going to divulge what those are, but is he ready when you need him for different types of kickoffs?
Yeah, Kevin, he is. He's been working on that since training camp, and really off season he's been working on that, and he's done a great job with that. So we'll sprinkle it out when we need to. Yeah, for sure. Great question.
Coach, I don't want to put you in a position to criticize a call. I'm just curious, on the offsides, what is the center allowed to do in terms of like the head coming up, coming down? Just like what is the rule there in terms of, when your head's down, you come up and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's well aware of what you can and can't do right there. What I'll say from our standpoint is we're always keying the back tip of the ball. That's the part of the ball that's on the ground. So we're keying the back tip of the ball at all times. And regardless, we need to key that, regardless of any act of gamesmanship that any opponent does. Okay, so I feel terrible for the kid because Hardy's obviously made a hell of a lot of plays for us. He's blocked punts. He's made tackles. He's done a great job in the return game blocking for DeAndre Carter. So I feel terrible for the kid, and nobody feels worse than him. And I've got to do a better job coaching it, and we got to do a better job executing it. So it's always the buck's gonna always start and end with me. So regardless, again, the key coaching point and the teaching moment for all of our players on that is to key the back tip of the ball, regardless of any act of gamesmanship they're getting from the opponent.
Are certain snappers better at that than others?
Some are.
Like, is that a skill?
It's a skill for sure. It's a skill.
Is it something that people coach?
Well, I mean, I don't know what other people coach. I never want to put our players in a situation where I can't hold them accountable. I'll just say that.
Look at the penalties. It looks like you guys have 6 on the year, special teams penalties. Is that frustrating for you? And what's your teaching point with all of those, especially, what we do today?
Yeah, so my teaching point and one of our keys to victory every year or every game is to play penalty free. So you're right, we have 6 penalties this year, and that's too many. I think we maybe had 6 all of last year. So like the first 2 years we were here, we were top 5 in least penalties committed. So it is frustrating for me because year 1 we finished number 1, year 2 I think we finished number 5. So we just have to eliminate them. Like they come in bunches and you get bad ones, then we have to have games where we don't have any because that affects field position. It hasn't killed us yet, but we're still harping on it. Like we don't want to be a team that commits penalties. I want to be a disciplined team. I want to be a sound football team. I want to be a team that plays relentless. And a lot of that we've gotten done. We just need to eliminate the penalties. Great observation.
of that is just the new kickoff rules, that kind of stuff, the penalties and that kind of thing?
Yeah, we had a couple on that, but still, it doesn't matter. New rules to me, everyone is playing by the same set of rules, so we just have to do a better job coaching and better job playing when it comes to that and being more disciplined when we play football. And we pride ourselves on being a disciplined team. So again, that starts with me, and we just got to do a better job there. I never point the finger at players because it starts right here at all times.
Do you think there will be more kick returns now that you're outdoors? Again, 2 straight games in a dome. Does that affect kind of how many touchbacks there are, do you think?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. Pat, I think I'm excited and I'm invigorated by looking at the different schemes and the different fundamentals and the techniques that are being used across the league. The return rates are up as really was the point of what we wanted compared to last year. So that's been really good. And I only expect them to increase. So from that standpoint, it's been a really successful so far, but we'll have to look at it obviously at the end of the year when we get a whole sample size together. It's a small sample size right now. We'll have to look at it all at the end of the year with all the data, along with the competition committee, along with the league office, health and safety, the rest of the coaches, and we can make a determination because it is a 1-year trial.
As you look at the first 3 weeks, are coaches blocking it up the way kind of you thought they would, or has there been a creativity there or the aspect of it that's different?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I really didn't know how people were going to block it up. But seeing what was done in the preseason, there's been some creativity. There's been some different things done. People kept some things in their back pocket, as we did as well. So it's been interesting, and I think it'll evolve as the season goes on.
No, I'm good.
Good? All right, thank you all.